Hello, how is everyone doing today? It's Tuesday, May 11th. I hope everyone is fantastic. It is extremely humid today in Florida. I keep debating on whether or not to go inside, and I'm trying to get as much warmth as possible before the heat is upon us. So I've been working outside every single day for a while now, and it is lovely. It rained a little bit today, which is probably why it's so humid. So I got to enjoy the rainfall here while I worked. Anyways, I hope everyone's doing fantastic. For those of you that are in the 21-day no alcohol challenge, we are on day 11. For those of you that have no idea what that is, put in Facebook under search 21-day no alcohol challenge, and you will see our group. Make sure you like it, join it, and we do 21 days of no alcohol as a group for the first 21 days of every single month in order to detox. And especially now right before summer, it's great because it helps you slim down before bikini season comes in. So listen, today I want to talk about the lies we tell each other. I want to talk about the promises we have to each other and why it is so important to make sure that we are keeping our promises and doing all of the things that we said we would do. Listen, you are the only person who is your ultimate best friend. Everywhere you go, it doesn't matter where you go. You're taking a shower, you're taking a dump, you're going grocery shopping, you're getting gas, you're hanging out with your mom, you're hanging out with your spouse. You are always there. Everywhere you go, you are there. If you could imagine a friend, best friend, who went everywhere you went all the time with all of the things. And then on top of that, imagine that person was continuously making promises to you and then continuously breaking the promises. I feel as if after, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, I feel as if you probably wouldn't be friends with that person anymore. I kind of feel as if after a certain amount of time, you'd say, listen up, buddy. You and we're not a thing anymore because you continue to say things and not keep the promises that you're promising me all the time. And I'm getting sick and tired of your lies. So this is what I'm going to say to you, my friends. It's very, very important to make sure that you are keeping your promises to yourself. Very important to make sure you're keeping your promises to yourself. When you keep your promises to yourself, this increases your confidence. It increases your self-trust. It increases how much you trust yourself as an individual to make competent decisions in your life. How many of you come to a point where you have a decision to make, go right or go left, in any direction with any of the things that you have to decide on any given day, week, month, year? And then some of us take forever to make the decision. Some of us have to think about it, mull it over, let some time pass, do a bunch of research, sometimes way too much research. And then other people make impulsive decisions. See, the difference is on a responsible level, right? A lot of times the individuals who are able to make decisions quickly and swiftly, they trust each other. They trust their natural instinct because they have high confidence, because they trust themselves, because they have confidence within themselves. It's a very, very important trait. The reason I'm actually talking about this is I was just on the phone. I feel like I've had back-to-back phone calls between setting up work and clients. It's been insane. And I wanted to get on here real fast again before another call, and then before I have to make dinner for my family. And I was on the phone with a woman named Michi, who I am actually going to be doing a podcast with on March 26th, Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. For those of you that can't catch, I'm getting a lot of slack because I'm doing podcasts sometimes during the day. Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. This woman is amazing. She has written a book called Cell Dreamer. It is about or for juvenile delinquents, to actually help them refocus on the positives and the goodness in their life and create actual game plans and strategic strategies for themselves to get out of where they are and start thinking big. It's absolutely amazing. But anyways, one of the things that we were talking about was promises. So I had invited her to be on my podcast called herversion.life, for those of you that are listening here somewhere. And I started this podcast because in my last relationship that I was in, it was extremely abusive, mentally, emotionally, sexually, financially. And I had promised myself that once I got out of that relationship, I would create a platform for individuals, females predominantly, to be able to go to in order to create and give them power, inspiration, and goodness towards their life, towards themselves. And I was telling her this. I'm like, yeah, that's what this platform is. It's not for me. I don't really have any grand schemes for it at this point. I'm literally doing this podcast in order to push more inspiring and empowering thoughts into my world and the females around me who have a burning desire deep down in there to do something with their lives, but they have fear. They have fear within them on some level or another. And I said, I promised myself that I would create this podcast once I escaped my last relationship. And she was like, wow, that is amazing. That is absolutely amazing that you are saying that you kept a promise to yourself and you are fulfilling that promise. That is one of the huge quality that I find good, whatever word she used, in another individual. And I would tend to agree with that 100%. Do not... I have a note here and now I cannot read it. That's the thing, my friends. That happens sometimes. So listen, I want to talk about commitments. Number one, don't make too many commitments. A lot of times the reasons why we fail or aren't able to hit our promises or our commitments is because we make too many of them. There's too many promises in all of the areas of all of the things, and then sometimes not enough time. If you are not working on your time management, first of all, a little self-plug here. For those of you that don't know, I am the creator of the 90-day Envision Your Best Life Start Transforming Today planner. It is all based around time management and getting your life together. So if you're one of those people who are overcommitting in all of the areas and can't seem to quite get all the stuff right, humanbetter365.com. Go on, buy my planner. You can either buy it by itself or you can buy it with me attached as your personal coach. We do 4 phone calls over the duration of the 90 days, and you will be a completely different person in a completely different atmosphere 90 days from today. So if you are having issues with too many commitments, too many things going on in your life, that's the first step to failure. That's the first step to failure. You need to create a strong foundation of a structure that you have going on, and then create small commitments on top of that that you are capable of keeping. The more often that you're able to keep your commitments, the better off you are in general. This is the other thing that I want to talk about when it comes to committing, promising, making goals. It's very, very important to make sure that when you are creating these goals for yourself, to not necessarily award the win, but also award the effort. Award the efforts, because this is what happens. If you tell yourself that you are going to, let's use numbers because that makes it easy, that you are going to lose 20 pounds by the end of 3 months, and then you only lose 12 pounds, the view that you have on that, if all you're doing is congratulating yourself for wins, would mean that all of that effort that you put in now equals a fail. You don't want to do that to yourself. So you want to make sure that you are continuously, and this goes for your children, this goes for your spouse, you want to continuously congratulate the effort, good effort, great effort. Do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. This way, if you don't quite hit, right, the whole like shoot for the moon, because then at least you land amongst the stars, that whole mentality, see, you don't always make it to the moon. You're not always going to make it to the moon every single time, but at least if you can congratulate yourself for the effort in your mind, unconsciously, that's a feel-good feeling. Knowing that you committed, knowing that you did all the things you were supposed to do. You said you were going to eat healthy. You said you were going to eat a smoothie every single day. You said you were going to go to the gym 4 times a week. You did all the things. You didn't quite hit the 20 pounds off, but you hit 12 pounds off and you did a good effort. That unconsciously tells you to do it again. If you do the same exact thing again, 3 months, you'll lose another 12 pounds. Now you're down 24 pounds versus 20 pounds and you're 4 pounds down. That, my friends, will create more power and more goodness inside of you, mentally, emotionally, confident, self-esteem, than continuously putting yourself down for not quite hitting the target. Does that make sense? So keep that in mind. The other thing that you want to do is make sure that you're treating the commitments that you're making to yourself as important as the commitments you make to other people. Now, this is the thing. How many of you make a commitment to go to dinner with a friend or go for a walk with a friend? And then you make sure 100% that you are there for your friend on time and ready to go and rock and roll with all of the things that are planned out for the day. But you yourself will make a commitment to yourself to go to the gym at this certain time on this certain day, but then not keep your own commitment. See, that is the difference. You want to make sure that the amount of energy and the amount of focus and the amount of respect that you have for meeting up with somebody else's commitment is just as strong as it would be for you meeting up with your own commitment. You have to keep your promises as a priority within your life, just like they are priorities for the people around you. You wouldn't just ditch your mom or your spouse or your children and just lay in bed and decide that you're not going to do something. Am I right? You would most definitely show up. You would show up. The other thing that I want to talk about that I see often is impulsive commitments. Individuals that impulsively, meaning they don't put a whole lot of thought into it, they just impulsively make a commitment to do something that's just ridiculous, and they didn't even plan anything. Like, I'm just going to give up all the junk food, or I'm going to stop drinking all sugary drinks, without necessarily planning, without necessarily being a little more strategic with what that means. Like, for instance, giving up all junk food. Well, what does that mean? Is that just candy? Or is that donuts and candy? Or is that just donuts and pastries and muffins? Or is it all of those? And then does that also include fast food like McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's and Chick-fil-A? I love Chick-fil-A. So what does junk food actually entail? Because what happens is, if you're not specific enough as to what that means, a lot of times you may go in saying it means all of that, but then you're craving a little bit of Chick-fil-A, like myself. You start to bend the rules. Next thing you know, you're eating Chick-fil-A. Next thing you know, next week you're eating Wendy's. Next thing you know, next week you're eating McDonald's. Next thing you know, you order the McFlurry or whatever that is at McDonald's. Now, is that junk food or is that just McDonald's, right? And there's this gray line as to what's going on. So these impulsive commitments that you're making to yourself, a lot of times it is what is getting you into trouble when it comes to being the best version of yourself. You want definitive lines when you're talking about doing big things for yourself and with yourself. You don't want to get caught up in the moment thinking, not thinking anything through. You want to think it through, create an actual strategic plan, and then stick to it. So if it's like junk food, okay, I'm not going to have any candy, absolutely no candy, chocolate, anything that resembles candy. Or what is it exactly? Be more specific. Listen, at the end of the day, when you're facing a commitment, you are left with one of two choices. Either you change your behavior to match your commitment, or you lower your values to match your behavior. Does that make sense? So one choice will increase and strengthen your self-trust, and the other will diminish it and will erode your confidence. So you need to make sure that you're building self-trust by incorporating these tips, and learn many more by enrolling in yourself, enrolling in what it means to be your ultimate best friend. What would you expect that friend to do for you, with you, say, and what promises would you expect them to keep for you? Does that make sense? So listen up. That's what I had for today. For those of you that are doing the 21-day no alcohol challenge, once again, today is day 11. Good job. You are halfway through. 10 more days to go. For those of you that are in sober society who are sober curious, head on over to the 21-day no alcohol challenge. We will welcome you with open arms. We do 21 days of no alcohol for 21 days, the first 21 days of every single month. Now is the time, my friends. Now is the time, because summer is coming. And I'm telling you, alcohol, it adds on some pounds, my friends. It adds on some pounds. So this is a great way for you to detox and start dropping off some of those pounds that you're drinking. And we do it as a group in a community. Everyone else, I was talking about my Envision Your Best Life 90-day planner. For those of you that are looking to start making commitments to yourself, to start moving forward when it comes to getting serious about your life and what that means, this planner is absolutely phenomenal. It will get you on track. There's two ways of doing it. There is, you can just buy it by itself on the humanbetter365.com, or you can actually purchase it with me attached to it. We do 4 or 5, I'm not sure, virtual calls, coaching calls throughout the 90-day process to make sure that you're holding yourself accountable for all of the things. If you are interested, message me or just go right to the website, humanbetter365.com, and go to the shop and purchase either the planner or the planner with me attached. But that is pretty much about it. I am a huge, huge believer in keeping your promises to yourself. And this is a great way to make sure you're doing it. Once again, for those of you that are just joining me now, the podcast that I was talking about earlier with Mitchie for Cell Dreamer, it's going to be on May 26th at 7:30 p.m. I also have Mr. Pedro Luna, who is a ambassador for Lululemon, is coming up in our podcast reel also. I'm not really sure when, but it is actually before that, coming up probably this week. And we're going to be sitting down with him. We're going to be talking yoga, real chat with yoga. And then I also have Elizabeth, who's going to be on coming up sometime soon too. So I have quite a bit coming on as far as more inspirational podcasts for you guys to learn from other people. So have a fantastic day today. Thank you so much for joining me here. I certainly hope that you guys have a great afternoon, great evening. Message me with any questions and we will talk to you later. Bye.